going on, people? It's Josh here with Hike Hunt Michigan. It's been a while. A lot of things have happened since the last video. Last video was last year, was Zach getting his first deer. That was cool to be able to record that. It wasn't the best because it did happen so fast, but hey, you got to make do with what you have sometimes. So this year, I was debating if I wanted to get back into filming. It is tough. It's very tough, but I decided I wanted to at least give it a shot. I don't plan on not getting something on film to not get a deer. I'm not to that point yet. My goal is to harvest a nice mature deer, and that's why I wanted to go with a series this year. Been looking at a lot of trail camera photos. We have a lot of good mature bucks on camera. Biggest deer we've probably ever seen on this property. So I wanted to try as best as I could to make a series of that and bring you guys along. This series is 3 years in the making. So the last deer I got was big, nice deer was 2016. I did get a deer in 2017, I think just a doe, I can't quite remember. But 2018 and 2019, I wasn't able to harvest anything. 2018 was the first year I decided to pass on a lot of deer. Passed on 7 bucks I would have taken in prior years. Did draw back on 3 does. I have no problem with taking does. They just unfortunately did not offer shots. The first year I was kind of surrounded by does and drew back about 30 yards. Right as it kind of walked to get into the spot, it kind of got spooked by the doe behind me. So that was tough. The second one, it was getting late. It was a 80-degree night, so it was getting late. It was about 10-15 minutes left of shooting light, and I just decided with the heat and it getting so late, I didn't want to risk that deer basically spoil. So I didn't risk that shot. And then the third doe, that was the first year I hunted with a bow hanger. Normally I used to sit with the bow on my lap. That year I had bought the rest you hang up. What happened was the deer had come from my right to left, so as I was pulling when I drew back, I hit that rest and it wasn't able to allow me to draw back fully because the deer was, I would say, about 8 o'clock. So I had pulled back, leaned behind me, and when I drew back, it hit that. And the deer walked off by the time I was able to move that. So that was my 2018. Last year was weird. Last year was a really weird season. The first deer I actually got a chance to shoot at was the one we couldn't find. So if you follow my Instagram, I did a story on that. It was definitely unique. I shot it, had good blood, ran across the road to a neighbor we didn't know. So I walked around trying to find out who the owner of that neighbor or that property was. Guy was great. Once I finally got a hold of him at dark, he had got a buck himself, and he had a side-by-side. He offered if we found it, he would actually help us take it back to our truck. So that was really good. It's good to meet your neighbors and make good relationships with them. You obviously don't want to just tramps on somebody's property without permission. So that was all I had last year. It was a tough year. The neighboring field next to us didn't really have crops like it normally does, so I think that was a lot to do with holding deer nearby and on our property. They were all across the road. So this year, though, we're sticking to harvesting a mature deer. Obviously, if a doe presents itself, I'm going to take a doe. So wanted to bring you guys along with the series, and hopefully we're able to get some good footage. Going to do some reviews of some products that I recently bought. First one is what kind of drove this and wanting to really do well this year. My wife actually bought me a SpyPoint MicroLink wireless camera. Honestly, for the price, it's been great. They retail about $150. A lot of times on certain apps you can get them for $100, and then you pay for the membership for the year. So all in with this one camera, between the yearly membership, I'm in $250, I think. So, and with that membership, I have the most expensive one, so I can link up to 10 cameras. So if you go in with a few buddies, or you have several yourself, it really does pay for itself. I'm going to show you kind of some footage of that and what those cameras are getting. So I have mine set up to meet me to send to my cell phone at 8 p.m. and 8 a.m. So it's nice kind of first thing in the morning, just kind of getting ready for work to clock in, get the day started. I get some nice deer pictures. So we're going to show you kind of what's been on camera. I have 2 consistent 10 points. Those are the target bucks. One I deem Lefty. I'll show you him right here. The other one, I guess I deem him Lefty. They're a little tough to tell apart when they're kind of turned sideways, but Lefty, I just call him that because if you look at his left brow tine, it actually kind of curves a little bit, and then I tell him apart obviously by that, but then his G2s are actually shorter than his G3s, so that's another way I can tell him apart. The second buck, Lefty's been around all year since I've had my camera up. I watched him grow from an 8 point to a 10 point so far, and it's what, July 25th I think. So it's been cool watching him grow and watching him get bigger. The other one showed up about a month ago. And I'm calling him the tall 10. So this is him. He looks like, as of right now, he's a 10 point, but he does have the potential to potentially sprout another point or two. In some of the pictures, it looks like his ends of his main beams are big, and that they might produce another point or two. So we'll see. He might become the tall 12. So those are the 2 main bucks. Recently, I've had a wide 8 point show up, and he's cool looking. He's one of the widest deer I've ever seen. And he's got a lot of space between his G2s and G3s on his main beam, so that was kind of cool. And then we have a couple of smaller 8 points, but those are like the 3 target bucks. And Lefty and the tall 10 have shown up during the day, which is great. So either first thing in the morning or right before sunset. So my goal is to use that camera to kind of help pattern the deer. I am going to today actually move that camera just for a week or two. I want to see what else is on this property. My dad has another camera. He's gotten a couple of the same deer, so I want to kind of compare those, and just want to get to the other part of the property we haven't really touched yet, which is where I plan on using my other purchase. I bought about 4 days ago an Old Man climbing tree stand. So once I get used to this, I'm going to do a full review. I'm actually sitting in it right now. So I am sitting in it right now. I did a lot of research as far as what I wanted to get for a climbing tree stand, and I settled on this one for 2 main reasons. One was the price. I was so unsure of a climbing tree stand, so I didn't want to spend a lot of money on it. The second reason I went with this one, it is heavy. That's the only downfall. It weighs about 30 pounds. However, I'm going to use it on my parents' property. So I'm not hiking back 1.5 miles with it. It's not that big of an issue to be heavy for me. Heck, I might also just leave it at the base of a tree, potentially, not even haul it out there. So we'll see. But the other reason was the footrest that you guys just saw. So as you can see, that right there, most climbers have some sort of shooting rail, some sort of rest in front of you. This one has 3 positions it can go into. It can go into the footrest, which is what you saw, which I particularly, that's why I got this stand, was for bow, because I want to be able to sit up and not have any kind of rail in front of me, so I can shoot. And just with playing around, I didn't bring my bow today, just because that wasn't my plan. I just wanted to get comfortable with kind of putting this on, so I can shoot in front of me. I don't have that rest with my compound bow. It also flips upside down, so that footrest now becomes a shooting rail that sits about right here. So during gun season I can use that, and then it just has a simple bar that goes in front. So I'll play around with those. I'm not going to do too much today with this because it is missing a part, a key part. It's missing the locking mechanism, the locking pin that goes for what goes around the tree. So I didn't want to use it too much because I just borrowed the locking pin that actually hooks on the footrest. So those are the things. And then obviously a couple years back now I bought the arm which the camera's sitting on. So just a little muddy extendable arm. It's been great to shoot when I have used it. So my goal this summer is obviously to keep scouting. I really have two places in mind that I'm going to hit hard with hunting, just because the field behind our parents' place does have corn. So when there's corn in that field, there's an alternate spot that I hunt. This series is probably going to be more podcast-like in regards to me explaining some things. And then obviously once we get into the season, it's going to be the hunting. So I just wanted to help people learn. I'm not the greatest hunter. I've said that in my other videos, but I love what I do. If I can help some people learn that are getting into hunting, that's my biggest thing. It's just love what you do. You don't have to go out and put, big Boone and Crockett bucks, 130-inch deer down. I'm real big on hunt your hunt, and I've decided my hunt is I want to put meat in the freezer with does, and then I just want to harvest a good deer. I've put in the time. We have good deer on this property. It's just about being patient and persistent. So that's the goal this year. We're going to, like I said, release a series of reviews over this Old Man tree stand. I'll review the SpyLink or SpyPoint MicroLink camera. I don't know if you guys want to see anything else reviewed. Let me know what I have. Yeah, that's about it. That's not it. So if you follow me on Instagram or you follow my Facebook page, Hindcup Michigan, you already know this. If not, my wife and I are expecting our first child. We didn't time it very well, so that's part of the reason I'm also kind of going hard this year with scouting and preparation. So I'm having a baby boy. His name's Henry, and his due date is November 17th. So if you know Michigan hunting season, that's 2 days after gun season. So my goal is to get everything done by the end of October. Possibly not hunt gun season and fill the freezer by then. So that's why I bought this stand. I'm gonna do some sitting observations, bring out my binoculars. We'll bring you along with that. But yeah, so that's my goal. I'm on a tight timeline. The wife didn't like it when I told her when she took some time off, I was going to take time off to hunt. So she didn't appreciate that. All our female friends also yelled at me for that one. It was a joke. I think there's a mosquito in my eye if you saw that fly in. But so yeah, I wanted to make this a series. I hope you guys enjoy it. Hope we're able to do some sort of success. So whether I get one of those deer this year or my family does, I just hope we're able to harvest some good quality deer this year. Last 2 years we have, my parents have at least. I've just struck out. So we're putting in the time. I also have been working on extending my bow range. So last year I was only comfortable out to 30 yards. This year I'm working on getting the 40-yard range. Out here there really isn't a need for us to shoot past 40. I honestly haven't taken too many gunshots past 40 or 50 yards. So it's just with the woods, it's not working. There's too much brush that it doesn't really. Once you get past that, you're getting into thick and you're risking shots. So we'll bring you along to those. Practicing the shooting, practicing working with this Old Man stand, working on my camera. That for me is the toughest, is the camera. If you guys have any tips, if you guys have self-filmed, I would love them, because with bow hunting, on where to position my camera, at least this one's going to be the one that swings around and aims on the deer itself. That's been my toughest. I think I have to almost go below my waist to give me room to shoot over the camera, essentially. So that's a lot of me just playing. So unfortunately I don't have trees to work on this at my house, so I'm going to be spending a lot of weekends out here at my parents' place, and working on just getting better at filming, getting better at functioning. I do know I'm going to have to buy some sort of bow holder to put on this tree stand, because I do not want to, I love the arms that I have, but I do not want to have to screw that in every time. I already will have the muddy camera arm I have to deal with, so I don't want the extra. So they make a little just clip on that clips right to the side of your tree stand, so I'm going to try that this year. If you guys have recommendations of ones you like, I'd appreciate it. So that's what we have in store for Hike Hunt Michigan. I hope you guys will enjoy it. Like I said, I'm always looking for tips, or if you have questions or things you guys want to learn, I'm always loving to learn more about things. So that's what my year's looking like. Hopefully you guys can enjoy the series, and we're gonna call it Josh's Journey, the hunt for Lefty and the Tall 10. Thanks for tuning in.